whatsoever. I don't know much about Harry Styles. I don't know who he is. But when I was in Orlando, I don't know if you guys have something on this. So in Orlando, I was playing with a really fun band, and they wanted to do a Harry Styles cover. And I'm like, what? Dude, I'm just going to say music for a sushi restaurant. Ray, you listen to that song?
I actually have because yeah, I think you because I broke his balls about listening to Harry Styles at one point. He mentioned it, so I listened to it. That is a solid listen. It's a good music is good music. That's a solid.
I'm telling you, like, just trying to, first off, like I learned it, and you'll never have an appreciation for a song until you try and learn how to play it as a musician.
That's facts.
Like, because we used to cover Late Night Talking, which I had to have a chord sheet out for that. Because that was just like, I mean, it was a lot going on. But whenever that song comes on and I'm in a place, Ray probably understands.
So Jason, so let me, because that's interesting that you said that where you were learning like the chords, and it was not challenging, but you had to put a little bit of effort into it.
Very challenging. Yeah.
When you think of Harry Styles or even pop music that's on the radio, top 40 music, you don't think, or maybe it's just me, because I'm more of a drummer than a guitarist. So it's interesting to hear that you found it like challenging, or you had to put like some elbow grease into it, because usually pop music is pretty simple, pretty formulaic. It's pretty much just math, just getting the count. Like with that song, like where were the challenges in learning the sheet music?
I think the biggest part, and I play by ear, so I'll put the CD on, I grab my guitar, and I'll sit there and so I'll figure out, I'll try and figure out what I can do guitar wise. Is there a keyboard? Okay, cool. I should probably learn that part. Is there other stuff that I could kind of add to the song? Not crazy, but, nice little subtones and all that great stuff. But the musicians I was playing with were Ray's friends with them as well. They were like top notch, totally badass dudes. I mean, they came and it was solid. I think the hardest part is obviously you can play with the record, but there's also that other side. You never know what's going to happen when you're in a different band dynamic. And Lynx, who's an amazing, phenomenal musician that we got to play, and I got to get him into our band, which was super awesome. He can play keys and play guitar. And then it's like, okay, I wonder what he's going to play. I wonder what Noel's going to play, and you're trying to always figure out who's going to do what. Because it's not like you just show up and like, okay, we're playing for Harry today. Even if you do, that's the other thing too, is even if you showed up to play with Harry, it may be like, hey guys, that sounds great, but what we're actually going to do is this, and we're going to change this around, and we're going to do that. So we learned about this when we played in Germany, where it's like you may have to know all the stuff, but you also have to know the keyboard part just in case. You have to know the lead. You have to know this. You have to know, and it just. I found it, because I've never listened to Harry Styles. I don't know anything about the guy. I seriously don't. But those two songs were so, and I mean, we did everything from we even did Father Figure from George Michael, what you're like, what? And then I had to learn the, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da. Now that's a keyboard part, but I learned it on guitar just in case. So we played it together, which was really, really cool. So it's one of those things where you always have to come with a gigantic bag of not tricks, but experience and knowledge, because you never know when they're going to go, hey, can you play that keyboard part with me on that song? Because I like your sound, because things change. You know what I mean? And it's stuff like that really, really changes in every band and every person you play with, depending on the situation. So his songs I found to be challenging because the Late Night Talking, there's a lot of stuff going on in that song. Like there was a lot of chords where you're constantly changing stuff. And I don't like to be looking at music when I'm playing, but that was that was definitely one of them.
So it's funny because Jay and I come from that. Obviously, for those who don't know, Jay and I played in bands for many, many years together, from like 2000 until we're still working on music today. We literally yesterday we're sending music to each other. Yeah, it's like music to each other. Like, oh, this is and we'll get on it a little bit later talking about it. But like at the end of this year, we're looking to go out and start recording and playing some music, like recording some of our music, at the end of this year. We have a long year ahead of us. So at the end of it will be the plan to go out there, maybe some in May, some in December sometime. But the thing about music is like, we come from a standard, like kind of like that I didn't say typical, but a typical rock band situation setup, guitars, bass, drums, singer. We personally in our music haven't had to work with as much like keyboard players, stuff like that with the music our original acts, but working with people who come from the pop world and that pop sensibility with music, there are a lot of intricate parts. If you listen to the production on a lot of pop albums, and you listen to there's strings and there's this and there's that, there's all kinds of things involved in it. And then when that person wants to perform it live, if it's not a playback track, the band has to cover it. So Jay and I were in a situation before, because I do remember, again, you mentioned being in Germany when we were performing with an artist out there, like a lot of his music had that overproduction. And I remember sitting talking to a super talented producer, songwriter, musician, Benny Richter. And Benny was the music director in the band. And I remember there was one of the songs that we were working on that on album, on CD, on the track, had this like this kind of crazy bouncing, because it was almost like they were playing it on piano, the bass line. And when they did the production, it was just like, bam, bam, da, 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 like left handing it a bunch. That when I learned all that, I was like, ooh, this is like one of those songs that it's like, okay, there's like so many notes per measure, and I got the whole thing down. And I remember the very first rehearsal walked in, he's like, oh gosh, he's like, no one told you. He's like, no. He's like, yo, just like pump it and play it straight, like bum, 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 bum. He's like, we found that it had more of an attitude and energy. And it's like, as a rock musician, I'm like, oh yeah, that's easy. That's rock and roll by Led Zeppelin. That's so many songs that just have that kind of like, I'm like, absolutely, I could totally do that, no problem, because it had a very easy dynamic to that song that way. But you have to be able to, Jay's point, you have to be able, especially when working with pop music that you might be arranging into a traditional band format, that you have to take those parts and learn everybody's part almost, because there might be that little thing that a flute did or something that next thing you know is it's the little run that the bass does or something that Jay's gonna do on guitar or something like that to cover it. Yeah, to fill it all out. So yeah.
Oh, can you do that with me, man? It would be really cool.
Sure.
No, nothing worse than being like, hold on, let me get my iPad, and everyone's for you, and it's embarrassing. And when you're playing with high caliber musicians, you really got to be on point for everything. And the coolest thing that Ray said too is, when it's great when you learn all this crazy stuff, and sometimes they're like, no, we're not going to do that. But to me, all it does internally in your brain is give you these amazing building blocks to just make you a phenomenal musician. And ego aside, which is awesome, is that you go, okay, cool, no problem. But inside you go, man, I'm so glad I learned that damn part. That was so awesome that I've put in that time.
So how do you guys, for artists that tour with artists where you would be the band, a lot of times the live rendition of a song is a little bit different than the studio version of the song. Like
everything.
The tempo is different.
It's always faster. It's always going to be faster.
How much time do you guys get to like rehearse that and practice that beforehand?
Well, it depends on the situation. So they call it AOR, album oriented rock, where you could take a song that's hyper produced. Like if you hear some of these songs that have like from a rock band that have like symphonics and all these things on it, and here's a whole like a symphony of instruments over here, and there's this here, and there's all this sound. And then they go out there and it's two guitars and a bass and a drum. And you're like, well, how do you make that work? You do have to, like I said, transpose that into the format that you're working with. So if you're going in as a hired gun, if you will, as a musician in that sense, usually you go through that is a great documentary too. You have a process of you audition, usually your agent or manager or whatever like that talks, to the artist management. The music director says, oh yeah, we'll use Bully on this thing, man. We think he's great. So then you'll get a bunch of music that they'll send you in advance and say, hey, here's a bunch of music and stuff. Usually prior to that point, they'll give you some music to say, hey, here's at least 5 songs to learn for the audition. And you can talk about that. So once you get the gig, here's the rest of the music. You have certain time. Here's our rehearsal process. So you get inside there, you learn the tracks that they're going to do. You basically learn the chord arrangements, put it all together. However, active listening to keys and saying, cool, awesome, it's good to go here. When you get into that rehearsal process, that's when the music director and the artist is going to start chopping up and changing things based on the artist's voice. There's a lot of songs that are recorded in a key that's a lot higher than artists want to perform them live, especially like they're going to be able to get away with it one time live. Hey, if this is a special award ceremony show, I will kill that in high E, no problem. I do this 200 dates, 250 dates a year. I might have to make that a half step lower just so I have the ability to punch it up there. So you work with the music director, and the music director is going to dictate to you how this is going to sound, and they're going to change and be like, oh, this is cool. And it might be a thing where they there's been plenty of times where you'll work with the artists or you'll rehearse with the band for like a couple of weeks before the artist gets there. And then when the artist finally gets in to sit there in rehearsals, the artist, like, you might do something on drums, Bully, like that. No, he's like, the artist might be like, yo, that's awesome. We got to add that in the song. And next thing it could have been just like a little warm-up riff or a little like, mid-song jam that everybody's just kind of doing. And the guy's like, yo, we got to put that on the thing. Let's lead that into the song or do that. And next thing it's like, all right, cool. Let's work on the part.
That maybe happens 2% of the time. So don't
exactly. Just do your thing. I mean, I'll tell you, like, Jay and I
hear you.
The artist we were working with out in Europe had this song called Rock the Nation. And when and here's the funny part, like, it fell out of his set list for a while, but Jay and I learned it because we just liked the song. So I don't know if you remember this, man. We were there that one night late, you, me, and Andy, who was the drummer, and we just started like playing it. And Mark, the singer, was like, yo, that's awesome. And we jumped on it. And then next thing you know, that song, I don't think it ended up in like the acoustic set, and we had a good time playing that song. It just ended up, and the way we did the dynamics, because remember they had that weird ending dynamic, was like that, that ripping out, that we just did we stopped and he punched the last verse, and then it was awesome, and it just worked out that way. And it was just one of those things that, something like knowing the songs, like you said, like that gives you such a leg up on so many things. So yeah,
being artistically creative in some ways when the time is right to be able to bring that up. And the artist could be like, no, I really want that ending, and it's good that you have it. But at the same time, it's kind of cool to have in your bag and have a decent argument to go, not an argument, but conversation to say, hey, it might be kind of cool is to just be like, is to hit it tight.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times people are like, no, I actually kind of like that a lot better. Like, we kept trying to do, oh my God, when we were doing, holy crap, I'm forgetting the damn name of the song, Fortunate Son. And I play it here with the guys, and I was trying to do the Foo Fighters ending. And I was like, no, it's going to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, da-da. And we got it, and it totally changed. Instead of just doing your regular ending, it's amazing how it changes. But it's I don't know. I mean, it's fun. And going back to what you're saying about, like, college radio and about stuff, when you're in college radio, you want to get people's attentions as quick as possible. And you want that hook to get in there as quick as possible. And being a DJ, I've worked with radio DJs for many, many years.
Yeah.
They only want to play, they're going to talk over that before the lyrics come in and all that stuff, as all you awesome radio DJs know, I mean, it's just one of those fun things where you just got to like kind of hit it, and it helps to be able to be that creative and to be in the know. But as we are listening to music constantly, so your brain is just absorbed and you can figure it out extremely quickly.
Absolutely. Yo, shout out to our boy Uptown, man. Yo, Marducci, absolutely, yes. Bands still do 200 dates a year. Like, rock bands still go out there. Like, if it's not big arena tours, not big stadium tours, but if you do like the large club venues and arenas, 200 dates a year is an easy pull for a lot of bands. They'll go out there and do like a month of basically 28 dates, a month of a month off, and like jump up and do dates and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, there's some road warrior bands, the guys I know out there have been out there for a minute. Yeah.
Non-point, man.
Non-point. Yep. Non-point. Shout out to Elias and stuff, Skindred, shout out to Benji and the guys, so yeah, those are some awesome bands. But
so
Jay, to your point, I was going to say this. If you want to, you mentioned, because this whole thing, I love, by the way, for everybody new to the playlist, we do be getting some ADHD on some conversation topics. Just so you know, we be loving music. We are just, we listen.
Passionate.
We talk. We say this all the time. Like, if we were not doing this show, we would still be talking music like this anywhere. It's kind of a staple of how we do. Do
we need to listen to the voice messages we send to each other on the
bro, we leave, Jay and I and Frank and I, we leave mini podcasts of voice notes, like 10-minute long messages, 15-minute long, just this, blah, 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 like constantly of music and different things. Like, we talk music all the time. So if you're new to the show and you're joining us for the first time on the many different platforms now, we're on YouTube and Instagram and of course on Twitter, all this stuff like that. We will do this. We'll have a conversation point and then kind of pivot off one way or the other. This whole thing started when we were asking Jason what he was listening to right now, because we're going to go through the round robin list. But we do have some of your artists queued up, and I think it'd be awesome.
It's too long. It's too long.
It'd be a great topic point. So, Bully, do we have that Flea one? His new single from his new album. This is the first one. The song's called Plea. It's by Flea, the phenomenal, legendary, iconic bassist of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who's also, for a very long time, and if you've listened to Red Hot Chili Peppers music, anytime you've heard a trumpet playing on their songs going back from, Blood Sugar Sex Magik Now, it's always been Flea.
Great documentary.
Yeah, Funky Monks is another solid documentary. Every time you do it, so he's been he's been a jazz musician his entire life. He came from a jazz family. There's a phenomenal, I am absolutely a huge fan of this gentleman, Rick Beato. If you ever get a chance to go listen to anything Rick Beato is an icon of music as well too, and has a phenomenal musician, producer, and has a YouTube channel where he interviews some of the best musicians out there. But he did one just recently with Flea, which was a great interview talking to him about music. And it's Flea has come from a jazz fan. He talks about his music origins before bass, before everybody knows him as a Chili Peppers bassist and like that. So before bass, his being a phenomenal, and the trumpet being his first instrument, first love. So anyway, this gets into, he's about to release album. It debuts. It comes out in March. And I forgot. Ramona is. I forgot the name of the album title. We said we're not going to do the thing, and I'm working off the rip here and jet lag from traveling back from Japan.
What it looks like.
Yes, that's the album cover. That's it. What's the name of the album? What's the title?
Honora.
I was like, I don't know if it's Honora or Honora or whatever, how you pronounce it. But his first single off that is a song called Plea. And I listened to it. I would like to listen because as soon as I heard it, I had some very strong feelings on it right off the rip. But definitely play this. The video is directed by his daughter, Clara, who, oh my God, I remember when she was a little girl and talking about her back in the day. Now she's like adult. I don't know if she has kids herself, but now she's directing music videos for him. So this is Plea by Flea.
Thank you for tuning in to the Playlist 100. Join the boys as they discuss all things music, rock, hip hop, country, metal, R&B, and all things music under the sun. Tired of scrolling Twitter and seeing a constant doomsday post? Head over to the @Playlist 100 account, where the boys post daily music, videos, questions, and take your requests. Oh, and be on the lookout for Ray's YouTube playlist. Still not enough? Well, head over to the Apple Music and Spotify to hear the songs the boys are listening. Want to join in on the conversation? Join the panel during the live stream or hop on the Twitter Space show. Have a suggestion? DM us. We want to hear from you. Oh, and be sure to follow @the Playlist 100 for more music adventures.